Hey guys, welcome to an episode of Rod's Comics. And on this special episode, we're going to do a quick read through, more of like leafing through the pages of a 60-year-old comic book. That's right, this comic book here is 60 years old, Fantastic Four number 51. It's a classic story about the Thing, and it's also the first appearance of the Negative Zone, if you're familiar with the Fantastic Four comic universe. A 60-year-old comic book priced at 12 cents. And again, this is number 51, titled This Man, This Monster. So we'll open it up. And this comic book at a 9.6 grade, which is obviously this isn't, would be worth more than 3,000 US dollars. But this currently, it looks great. It's not so bad everywhere else. It's just that the staples are hanging by a thread, if you can see. But yeah, the corners are it's not that bad. I wouldn't know how to rate this or grade this, but if I sent this graded, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be so bad, because if you look at the pages, it's still nice, it's still clean, and yeah, we'll leaf through it. All right. So we're obviously not gonna read it page per page, but just to give you an idea of what a 60-year-old Fantastic Four comic book looks like on the inside. Here we go. So I'm very careful in handling it. An ad for growing 7 monsters. Back in the day, I used to order from this shop called Johnson Smith Company, which would feature ads like this and would include an order coupon with like x-ray glasses like this one and all that stuff. Same products, just a different store. It was called Johnson Smith Company, and I would order often, and sometimes I would cut out the coupon on my 80s comic books back when I was in grade school. So there's the first page, This Man, This Monster, written by the legendary Stan Lee. Of course, Jack the King Kirby penciled this. Joe Sinnott was the inker, and R.D. Simek was the letterer. This is basically the trio of Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Joe Sinnott. They were the team that did many of Marvel's earlier classic comic books. So there's the Thing. So you can see him moping around, being depressed and everything. And then he bumps into this scientist guy who experiments on him and allows him to experience being a normal human again. This is also a very popular ad for comic books of this era. Again, this is from 1966. So if you see a lot of 60s comics, they would have the same ad for this Polaris nuclear sub. $6.98, over 7 feet long. Can you imagine? You can order this big enough for your kids, but don't be deceived. Most of the stuff that they sell on the ads in comic books are very underwhelming when you actually get the item that you ordered, like 100 toy soldiers, but they're like this small, or the sea monkeys that actually don't resemble monkeys at all. They're just like little floating stuff. This one I would assume is probably made out of cardboard. This is probably just a cardboard because it's 7 feet long, so it's obviously not a real submarine, right? Yeah, so basically the scientist takes the form of Ben Grimm, and Ben Grimm becomes human again, and the scientist actually has a hidden agenda. He actually wants to steal some of the ideas of Mr. Fantastic, who is obviously a very smart scientist himself. So this guy's kind of jealous, and the only way he can infiltrate the Fantastic Four lair would be to impersonate Ben Grimm or the Thing, right? So that's the scientist. He becomes the Thing. That's Ben Grimm. He goes back and reverts back to his human form. And then, as you can see, he joins Sue and Reed and, impostering Ben Grimm, pretending he is the Thing. All right? And so they actually go and interact. And all of a sudden, Ben Grimm shows up, the real Thing, who is in human form, and warns the Fantastic Four that this guy is just impersonating him. All right? So all hell ensues, and yeah, you can see all these classic ads. This is all part of the charm of old comic books. I love it just as much as I do the storyline. So you go through it and you can see this new creation. It's called the Radical Cube, and it's designed for interdimensional entrance into subspace or whatever. And yeah, so there. So this is a trademark Jack Kirby style. Whenever there's like something related to space or interdimensional travel or whatever is going on, he always does this. Like, this is his special effects. He does the black ink dots and spots and whatever, and that's the Jack Kirby style. And it was groundbreaking at the time. You have to understand they were very limited when it comes to the tools of the trade. When it came to doing their artwork, they had limited colors to play with, and this is 1966. All right, so technology in the comics wasn't that advanced yet. But speaking of technology, you turn the page and you see another trademark Jack Kirby style or Fantastic Four comic style. You'd see this in previous issues like 48, 49, 51. This art style was used during the first appearance of the Silver Surfer, and it's actually like a real picture sort of, and then just kind of edited to make it seem like it's part of the comic book. But as you can tell, it's originally probably like real photos. It's photorealistic, and it's also part of Jack Kirby's style. You see the Thing coming on, and then live seahorses. You can buy a pet monkey for $18. Wow! They just offer you that stuff, and then when you order it, you don't really get the actual thing that you order. Yeah, so you see the Thing reverting back to his original self, and obviously the Fantastic Four relieved, namely Reed and Sue. Very happy to see Ben Grimm again, which is kind of odd, right? Because you would expect them to want him to be human again, but he did become human, but somebody impersonated the Thing, and yeah, so he obviously wasn't him, and they've gotten used to being with Ben Grimm as the Thing, and that's the real him. So what's important is that he's back to his old self again. And this is the Marvel bullpen, of course, and the Marvel bullpen is like updates from the editor. So this would be Stan Lee, and usually he would sign it Excelsior at the end, with just like little editorial section, and then you have the fan page. So you see a lot of these people here writing letters to comic books back in the day, and you just kind of wonder how old these people are. Are they still alive? I mean, they actually have their full addresses here, like their home address, the number of their homes. I mean, nowadays that would never happen because of privacy issues, but back in the day, you could write a letter to your favorite comic book and include your full address, and those reading the comic book could actually go to your house, and hopefully that's not the case, but that's the case here. So yeah, is it here growing or going? Well, in my case, I think it's going. And they're looking for people who like to draw. I remember when I was a kid, I had comic books around this same era, and I would see this ad, and I always was wondering if when I grow up I could actually get hired here or apply to this whatever thing this guy's offering and become a famous comic book artist. That was one of my childhood dreams, was to become a comic book artist. And yeah, either that or a soldier. So obviously I didn't become either one. Now, here's an ad at the back of the comic book. It's as you can see how classic it is. Another great moment in sport, Hobby Kit by Aurora. You can see it's Jerry West. That's Jerry West. So he was pretty much still an active player at the time, because there's no Kobe Bryant or LeBron James or Luka Doncic here. This is Jerry West, folks. Jim Brown, if you know him. Babe Ruth. I mean, Babe Ruth obviously was long retired already then. Jack Dempsey and Johnny Unitas. So just to see Jerry West still being advertised as a modern day sports idol, that just shows you how classic this comic book is. And that's why I love, golden and silver age comic books and comic books in general, because they preserve time, not just through the art style, but through the ads. And, the nostalgia just oozes out of the pages. And again, just to realize that this is a 60-year-old comic book in my hands that has survived through the years. So this has been your read through Fantastic Four number 51. Again, a 60-year-old comic book. And, we'll do more of these issues if you guys like it. But I'm going to have to be very careful, of course, with these pages, because some of these comic books are actually really valuable. This has been an episode of Rod's Comics. Until the next episode.